This hour goes so fast. Yeah. Here we are.
I'm going to say good night, everybody. Thanks.
Hmm. Are you there, Ramesh? Hi, Kathleen.
Hi.
You've come into a room full of guides here, so this is a great opportunity if you've got anything you want to look at.
Well, good. I think I do.
Mm.
Confusion is it's I don't even know well the word confusion. I don't know what's going on. I I, I feel like I'm in a really good place. I I'm kind of present here and now. Things are I'm not anticipating things. I'm all of I don't know. That's why I'm so confused because I don't know if I'm bypassing things or if I'm living in a dream or well we all live in a dream that's kind of but I don't really know. I was just watching a YouTube video with Purnell and talking about what you really see, you know and without the labels and without memories and without projecting and da 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 da. And I don't know. I'm just feel like do I need to go? I don't know what I'm doing. I really don't. I'm kind of content where I am, but I don't think that's I think I need to go deeper, but I don't know where to go or what I even need.
Mm.
So confusion is the word I'm using because I think that's what I am. I think maybe I'm at I don't know.
Mm. So if I ask you, why do you need to know? Or rather, not why, but what is the need to know what's going on for you? How do you experience that?
Well, and that's the interesting part. I don't need to know anything. That's
But
why I feel like I'm bypassing or something because I I want to say I don't care, but that doesn't sound right. Well, who cares what things sound like? I I'm really in a position where I'm just kind of floating along and I'm not letting things bother me. And I've talked about my son before. I called him my Achilles heel, and I took him out to lunch dinner on Tuesday because it was his birthday, and it's the first time I've done that in about 5 years. And because I finally, about maybe 5 months ago, a friend had said, "Can't you just be okay with the way he is?" And I was like, "Ooh, yeah, I guess I can." And so since then, I'm okay with how he is. He's who he is. I'm who I am, and you know, so
so what's going on for you? If I'm right, well, if I pick up on what you're saying, is that there is some well, you use the word confusion, but that doesn't really tell me something. But there's some conflict, it appears, between how easy this is for you and how you feel like it should be. Is that what you
right.
say?
Well, yeah, like am I bypassing? Am I pretending like everything's okay and it's really not? I don't think I'm doing that because
Mm.
I'm I'm being more authentic. I'm saying what I think and feel. I'm not getting lost. I mean, we always get lost in our thoughts, but when I do, I can kind of bring it back and go, oh, there's a thought. Oh, there's a thought. So I think I'm
So
maybe,
is it,
okay.
it
So,
is
so
there
let me
something
just say
called,
something.
yeah, go on.
Let me just say one thing. The thinking part. Okay. So my thinking is like, maybe I need to just take a break and just, not, read anymore, or listen anymore, or go to Vince's meetup. I'm fine. Everything's good. But I don't see that as, I feel like that's the thinking and the ego saying, we're going to stop right here. Does that
Mm.
make sense?
Yeah, yep, yep. So that is what gives birth to some dissatisfaction.
More no, not dissatisfaction, just like, I don't know.
Mm. So is that not knowing what you're calling confusion?
Maybe.
See, I my experience here is that in that not knowing, when I say I don't know, I kind of get a little bit excited, and it feels really good. There's a sense of freedom in not knowing. I don't have to know. I don't. Takes a lot of effort away out of my life to not have to know. But your not knowing doesn't feel like that. It feels something different. Yeah.
Well, it's two different things. It's two different things. The not knowing on a day to day, moment to moment, I'm loving. It's freedom. It's like I don't have to do anything. I can be spontaneous. I don't need to know what anybody's doing or what anybody's saying or what anybody's meaning. I'm in a nice flow there. The not knowing is this where I'm supposed to be or am I supposed to dig deeper?
Yeah.
That's the not knowing. The not knowing is, should I be
Okay.
digging deeper into something? And even with like emotions, um, like I'm not, I don't know the last time I cried, probably with y'all, I don't know. But I just feel like am I deluding myself
Mm, mm,
with this contentment that I'm having? Because I'm pretty content. I mean,
mm,
I really am, and my friends are like kind of laughing at me because I'm like, whatever, and just tell me what to do, what time to be there, what to bring. I'm on board, but I'm not worried about it. And I'm
mm,
going to Alaska, not Alaska, I'm going to Hawaii in August, and people are like, oh, you excited about going to Hawaii? And I was like, well, not really. I mean, I'll be happy when I'm there, but I'm not.
mm.
So that's what I mean by confusing. I'm
Mm.
confusing in my contentment, if
Right.
that
Yeah.
makes any sense.
Well, so what just popped up for me then is agency, control, right? So do you um take credit? Do you I don't know how to put it. Um, do you think that this place that you've got into was because you did things? Do you think it's the result of effort?
I think it's because I've been on this journey for a long time and I'm finally starting to let it all sink in.
Right. So you're doing that, letting it all sink in.
Uh, Boy, hearing it saying like that, yeah.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. Well, yeah. Whew, I
Kathleen,
guess.
can I give you a question that was given to me? You know,
Absolutely.
you're describing the position you're in now, yeah? And I don't know how long you've been on this journey, whether it's 6 months, 6 years, whatever. But if you compare where you are now to where you started, yeah? What if this is it? You've reached a point of contentment. If that's the end of the journey, would that be okay?
Yeah.
If this is it, there you go. You're fine. Don't worry about anything else. You're there.
I'd like to think that's true. There's my thinking going.
Exactly.
Kathleen, it seems as though you're trying to figure this out.
Yeah. My type A personality.
What would happen if you just felt into what you're feeling and just let that unfold?
It'd be a lot of relief.
Is that a problem? Could
I
it be
think I
that
need
too?
validation. I think I need validation. I
Ah,
think I need someone to tell me it's okay.
mm-hmm.
Your
Well,
certificate is in the mail.
yeah.
Yeah, Kathleen, it's okay. There you go.
The final validation will only come from inside, so to speak.
Yeah.
And the way we find it is to feel.
And I would just add that confusion is what we have. I mean, if you're not confused, it's because you're not looking carefully. The experience is very confusing, you know.
Yeah.
And at all levels, because there is no reference point. Every reference point is moving, shifting, moving away. Others are coming in new experience. Then what? I mean, at all levels, experience is very confusing. So they can be confusion, and you can be okay with it.
Yeah.
The possibility.
like to just go on.
Okay. What? I'm sorry. I had to mute a call.
Right. Yeah, just something that James said, you know, that you've arrived, and he's not suggesting, I don't think, that this is an end to anything. Right? So you're going to continue to discover stuff while ever you're alive, I think. And so it's like there is no, you know, so it's the metaphor of a journey is kind of good, but it falls apart when you talk about a destination. So there's no end result, end point kind of thing. So things will continue for you, but like David said, if confusion arises, that's just what's there. It's confusion, but it doesn't need to be resolved, although every part of us wants to resolve it all the time. That's what we've learned our whole life. But yeah, the same techniques, the same tools for looking at confusion that for anything else works really well, and that is to simply recognize the thoughts that are involved, but put them in an appropriate place, which is somewhere else away, and look at the sensations, look at what's going on in your body. What is your body experiencing? So if your body is experiencing a contraction, then there's something to look at. If it's experiencing an expansion, then of course you're feeling great and you're not worried about it. Yeah.
No,
Okay,
I
well, this
agree,
is
Vince. So go on, Kathleen.
No, I just said this is helpful.
Yeah. I mean, no, I wasn't trying to suggest, I mean, that there's no end to this. What happened for me was, rather than, like, you know, you're saying, oh, I'm looking at this and I'm confused, or this, they sounded like concerns, or, you know, you were thinking, oh, maybe this isn't right, or whatever, you know. So there was still, like, for want of a better word, problems there. As where what happened for me was the same things were happening, but I didn't see them as problems anymore. You know, they're interesting things that are happening. As David said, there's confusion all over the place. You just go, okay, there's confusion, you know? So that's it. It's coming at it. It's like when everybody says, I don't know if you've had this said to me, and this used to frustrate the hell out of me, that people would say, once you've seen nothing's changed, but everything's different. And it's that there might be confusion there. You know, these thoughts may come up in your head, but for want of a better description, you don't have to worry about them anymore. It's not like, oh my God, I'm not enlightened, or oh my God, I haven't reached nirvana. It's like, oh, okay, I'm feeling this. And you sounded pretty content with it, so keep it up.
As if you can do that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So there will be flavors, you know. There'll be confusion that is, you know, like, okay, I just don't understand. Well, that's all right. But then there'll be other confusion that goes, oh, this feels a bit personal. Or, I don't know if that's the best way to put it, but there'll be a flavor to it that says, there's something here to look at. And so always where the message of there's something here to look at will come almost always, your first awareness of it will be as in thoughts probably, but always it'll come up in the body as well. And that's where the value of looking is in the body to what's actually going on behind it. It's never about what comes up. I say this and I sound like I know, and it's general, but so there's always variations, of course, but it's always about what triggered what comes up, not what actually comes up. What actually comes up is usually a diversion, a way to avoid what it is that's been triggered. So if you can look underneath the confusion at what triggered it, that's where the juice is for you.
Hmm.
But there may be not enough juice there to worry about. It may be that impersonal kind of confusion that doesn't really matter. You just live with it and watch it and see what happens. So it depends on, ask your intuition. Is there some juice here, something to work on, or is it just what's appeared?
You know, and I've gone into the body to try and see, okay, is there anything going on? And I like I said, I'm feeling pretty content.
Hmm.
You know,
Well, you're not supposed to be content. That society says keep trying all the time. You've got to be putting effort into it. You've got to earn everything. And so you've got no learnings from general society about being content. Society doesn't like contentment. That you don't spend money if you're content.
isn't that the truth? Okay, well, y'all have helped me tremendously. I thoroughly thank you. Yeah, and yeah, okay. I'm glad. I love you guys so much. I really do. This
Yeah.
has been y'all have given me a lot of tools that I didn't have before. So I thank you.
Oh,
Just one thing before you go, Kathleen. David Bonney sometimes refers to finding a safe place in the body when we're looking at things. I just noticed you were talking about the confusion and then you talked about the relief. Just giving yourself to exploring the relief, that safe place.
I don't understand.
Don't understand. Well, you said you felt it. You talked about feeling deep or a real relief when you'd stop trying to figure things out.
Right.
So just feel into that beautiful place of relief, and then, as Vince says, if there's a contraction comes up or something, just explore it.
Okay. Got it.
So just allow the relief to do what it wants to do.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
mm, mm. This is a great opportunity with all these guides here today to get some extra help. So tell me how you've been lately.
Hello,
Since
is there a noise?
I missed that, sorry.
Is there a noise?
Yeah, there's a little bit of sounds like microphone noise. Yeah, but it's all right. I can hear you.
One moment. How about now?
Yep, that's fixed it. Whatever you did. Mm.
It was the fan.
Ah, so you're gonna be hot now, are you?
No, it's okay.
The last time we spoke, you were feeling heavy is the word that comes to mind. You were feeling pretty heavy. There was a lot weighing you down. How is it now?
I'm not sure. It's not the same.
There's
Things
something.
with my grandma now is it's like it's different. I feel like she's going into like a depression state, and here like she's like going into grief. So like this is the stage of depression, I'm thinking.
Hmm.
She's not complaining anymore. She doesn't want to eat. She doesn't take the medicine. She's sleeping all day. And but oddly enough, I feel like this is good. I feel like I'm hopeful that she's gonna be better.
Mm.
But I can't justify that. Yes.
Mm.
Why?
Mm. So you feel like your own experience is very much tied up with what you perceive your grandmother is going through? That they're really strongly connected, your experience and what you perceive in her?
I'm not sure, maybe. I think there is a connection.
So do you have the fantasy that if she gets better, you'll feel pretty good?
There is some kind of relief, or there was a lot of tension of taking responsibility, or trying to help her, or to blame myself. I feel a little bit more free around her.
Mm.
Even like when she says something, I also challenge some of her like beliefs, especially when they're not justified at all. Making like weird assumptions about food and medicine, and it's like I ask her, how do you know that? And um,
So the change that you are responding to in her, how is that experienced in your body? How are you feeling in your body? Are you still feeling contraction? Are you still feeling vibrations?
yeah, all the time.
Do you see triggers for that, or does it just seem to appear out of nowhere?
It does not appear, it's always there.
Oh, it's always there. Okay. Right. So there is no experience of relief from that, of it not being there? Are you always aware of it? Or does awareness come and go and the assumption that it's always there be prevalent?
I don't know how to answer that, but I feel like I'm not inside the contraction, that it's there.
That's interesting. So if that's there, that's in the body. Would it be accurate to say that you feel like you're not in the body or of the body?
Maybe like on the edge.
On the edge, yeah.
I'm also being like obsessed with death and dying and like not just in thinking, just feeling how my body respond to the idea or the imagination. It's kind of like intriguing.
Mm.
I don't see what is intriguing about this. What is the curiosity about?
I didn't hear.
What is, you say you are obsessed about death, and I'm wondering what is the curiosity about death? I don't understand what is to be curious about that.
What not to be curious about?
That's why I'm asking you, can you, because what is death to you? I don't get it.
It's a lot of things.
Oh, okay. What is the main one?
Like what dies?
Well, to define what dies, you have to be clear about what is alive, right?
Yeah,
So
I
tell
think
me what
it's
is alive.
linked.
Maybe. So tell me what is alive right now? I'm asking you this because the only way to know anything about death is to experience it, right? If it is something that you can experience, I don't know. I have no information about that, right? But you can experience what is alive, what is life right now, because you are alive. So the exploration of life can lead you somewhere. Exploration of death, it you already step into imagination from the get-go. That's why I'm asking you what is life, because in life you can with hope find some answer. In death, it's imagination. I don't know if there is one, as I'm saying. The only way to know about it is to experience it. And if so, why not be interested into life first? Find out what is alive in you, and then if the curiosity is still present, you can investigate that. Does that make sense to you, what I'm sharing?
I'm not sure if there is a distinction. I can uh, I'm not assuming that there's a difference between life and death.
Okay. But if I ask you what is I mean, I don't want to enter into too much theory.
I feel like I'm
I
just
think it.
being told to what I don't know.
You are attracted, you say? What did you say you are?
Yes.
Well, that's very good. I think it's worth pursuing what you don't know. But I think it's can be useful to pursue things that you can find an answer. That's all.
I'd like to address this, Ramez. I understand the curiosity of death. I understand it's like this vast unknown. And so being attracted to that unknown, is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Okay, so what's David saying is, first, in order to explore death, one has to be alive in order to die. So explore what is it that's alive? What's life? What's alive? And when you see what is it that's alive, then you can question, is this that's alive, can it possibly die? And then explore it. But first, explore what is it that's alive. And then when you have it, the sense of it, this light, aliveness, and then you can inquire, can this ever die? And then inquire. Don't assume it can or can't. Inquire, look. But first, to explore death, the belief in a death, there has to be a sense of what is it that's alive? What is live? Do you understand?
Yeah.
Because without life, there's no death. So first, what is it that's alive? And when you sense that aliveness, then you can start just sensing and a very subtle inquiry, can this aliveness ever cease to exist? Because won't it still be alive even in death? Because what's watching the death? Can this aliveness ever cease to exist? what would be watching, experiencing the belief in a death other than the aliveness that never dies, that never ceases to exist? And then you can take that aliveness and meet it with the aliveness. Is it your grandmother that's meet it in? Is that your grandmother that's ill?
Yeah.
Okay, so when you find that aliveness within yourself, the one that cannot ever stop existing, then you can meet with that aliveness, meet the aliveness in your grandmother. Don't be fooled by appearances. Meet aliveness to aliveness.
So a question that comes to mind here is, does aliveness require a body to exist? That's good. I like it when the mind boggles. Yeah.
I'm having these like mind images, or I can't really understand it.
Well, understanding is not mandatory. You don't need to understand it. Do you recognize what you're experiencing?
Yeah, it's like recognizing itself. It's like this focusing and unfocusing.
So just be with that and don't try to understand it. Just be with that. Don't try to understand it. Just sense into it.
I feel this kind of this this feeling of like responsibility in general is loosening up. It's like noticing things that it's not possible for me to be responsible about, and things happening, and it's like this belief is just, I'm seeing cracks in it, like, and there was a fear of if about waking up, it's just like I'm gonna abandon this body or abandon life or something. And it's like I feel like maybe I will abandon, see what happens.
Mm. What if I told you that, in fact, the opposite might occur, that you'll actually be more involved than ever? What's your response to that?
It's true. And it's taking less effort than before. Any advice how to be with my grandma?
Be with your aliveness. Be with the aliveness within you. And just practice that, being with your aliveness, and then recognize the same in her. And that's all there is. Everything else is just noise.
Maybe something less vague.
I would imagine that there is value in you considering the connection between you and her. So obviously there is, and from an experiential point of view, not from thinking about it, but being aware that there is a likely to be a strong feeling that flows out of you towards her, and it has a whole lot of stories attached to it. All your hopes for her are involved with that feeling that you have, that there is that but it's those stories that distort the reality, that there is value in considering them Not again, not chasing down thoughts down rabbit holes trying to make sense of it, but rather just examining the intensity and the flow of those feelings, and where they come from. So I suspect this thing with responsibility, loosening responsibility, is one of the reasons why you're feeling somewhat a little better about the situation with her. Before that, I imagine that you're almost feeling responsible for her, that you can't fix her. You can't wave a magic wand and have her up and about again. So the reality is she may die. She may well be at the end of her life. You don't know. Could be, could not be, maybe, who knows? So one thing that you will realize about death is she won't be there physically anymore. She'll still be alive in you. She'll still be alive in your thoughts and in the other people around her. She'll still be alive, but she won't be physically there anymore. And that will certainly promote something in you to look at.
Okay, can I say something? I know y'all going to say yes, so I should just speak. I've been a hospice nurse for a long time, so death and dying is like very near and dear to my heart. And what I like what Jen said as far as, I don't know how she said it, but anyway, the thing is to be alive and notice this is my words, okay? Notice the aliveness of your grandmother and function with her on the aliveness part. Because originally you said, she doesn't want to take her medicine, or she doesn't want to eat certain things, or, her body is, I don't know for sure, but her body is probably saying it's time to go, or eventually it's going to be time to go. Everything dies. That's the truth, today, tomorrow, a year from now, 2 years from now. But while we're alive, we can enjoy that aliveness with each other, and in dealing with people who are dying, a lot of times families won't do that. They're more involved in, you have to eat, you have to listen to the doctor, you have to take your medicine, you have to, don't forget to do this, mom or grandma or whatever, and we, because we're so afraid of death and we don't know what it is, we put on to the poor person who's at the end all of our baggage. I'm not saying that you're doing that. I'm just speaking of my experience, And so the best thing that a loved one can do for someone that they're caring for is just love them, and just love them, and hear their stories and look in their eyes, and not be worried whether they're eating enough or taking the medicines enough or listening to the doctor enough or whatever. And again, I'm assuming that she's closer to the other side than this side. If I'm wrong, forgive me, but at some point she'll be there, maybe years from now. But it's kind of like our responsibility is to just love them. And therefore we're not putting our baggage on them. They're about to go into another realm. Like where, I've heard the expression when someone's dying, it's like, where would I go? Of course I'm going to be here. Where else can I go? And that to me is kind of like just the humanity and the physical part of her. Just love her. Okay. And I hope I haven't offended you or said anything wrong. I just, from a hospice standpoint, from dealing with people who are dying, in the end, it's really beautiful. I know that sounds crazy, but if allowed to die naturally, which I don't know where you are, but America, we don't want anyone to die naturally. We want to do everything for them. But to allow natural death is such a gift. It's such a gift, and to have people who love them, and obviously you deeply love your grandmother because it's so freaking obvious. So just love her. Just, don't worry about the baloney stuff around her. Just, let her be comfortable, love her, whatever she needs, you're there for her. The other side, the death part, is irrelevant, really, because where would she go? So
that's kind of what I was saying about when you learn to be with your aliveness within yourself, you'll be able to also know it's in her and it can't cease to exist. And then be with that. Just that can, oh, worry, we got to keep you alive. Take your medicine. It's so distancing. But just a heart to heart say, wow, what's alive in me and what's alive in you can never cease to exist.
Can I ask you a question, Rami? Have you looked at your grandma in the eye, really look at her and say to her, I love you, and feeling it as you are saying it, trying to really express the best of your ability, the feeling of love that you have, looking at her eyes at the same time?
Not verbally, but
Please, yeah.
I hold her hand, I look her in the eyes.
You ask advice very directly and practically, so try to say out loud, because each time maybe the last, maybe she will die, maybe you will die, maybe everyone will die. So this
I
one is
mean,
maybe the last moment to say I love you out loud.
there isn't really in our language a word for that would communicate that without being very empty words,
Hold her hand.
There's no word that is so distinct that gonna communicate it. Like all words just empty because we use them so often, and it's just.
Yeah, but you see, it's not about the word. It's about what you will say with the feeling that you're connected. If you say to someone, you really take them okay, and you try to share with this person, really, like, look, you are so important to me. I'm so happy to have you in my life, and everything you're giving to me, everything I share, I feel it like a gift, and I'm so happy. If you start to speak like this and you feel it, something will happen inside you. My propositions to try to make space for that, because it's now, it's always now that the opportunity. You die tonight, maybe, and there's not enough time for this. And I'm sure in every language there is a way to speak about how much we care about someone. If it's not I love you, but it can be something else. But if it doesn't make sense, don't do it.
And also, Ramez, in your culture, if you hold her hand, is she looking in your eyes? And you're looking in her eyes, and you feel to the point of tear, then you've already said it. Or if you see a tear in her eye, then you know you've connected and you've already said it. Because your heart will connect through your eyes, through your hands. She's looking in yours, you're looking in hers, and you're both feeling the same thing. The knowing, that knowing doesn't always need words. And that's being with her on the most profound way, more than trying to make her take her medicine and keep her alive. but knowing that she can never not be alive. Just the body may go.
I'm a bit blown away by what you say, Ram, is that in your language, your culture, that would always be taken to be hollow, that would be taken to be not sincere. We're so shaped by language. Language absolutely fashions the way we think from all of our life. And I can't believe that in your culture that there is no way of expressing a sincere and deep and genuine connection with somebody. Something we just, I mean, obviously, well, not obviously, but I think frequently we use love, the word love, when we mean all sorts of other things. We don't really mean love, but every language must have a way of expressing that without it always being taken as insincere. There must be a way of you conveying something to her about that. Maybe not using that word, but other words. Or is it in your culture that it's much more inferred by action, by deeds, by behavior than by words?
It's not a general thing. It's more nuanced based on the situation, people.
Right. Yeah.
And like in our family, I feel like touch is more strong because it's not the habit in our family. So
yep. So when you hold her hand, you're telling her something quite significant, aren't you?
yeah, and it was difficult for me actually to do it.
Okay, yeah.
The other day, my aunt was here, and I asked her to hold my grandma to give her a drink, and my aunt couldn't handle the intimacy, and she started crying, and
wow, yes,
and it was kind of, yeah.
Mm. Oh, yeah.
Sometimes it's so deep that words fall short. Sometimes it's so intimate and so connected and so full and so deep that words fall short. So however you reach that place between you and your family is gold.
It's my fantasy, it's my story, but I imagine that I am experiencing something really intense, really huge. That your love for your grandmother is just palpable. I can almost feel it, and it touches me deeply, and yet, wow! And you can't you can't express that in words. Oh, that's a blowout. It rocks me.
You know, for some reason, I totally understand not being able to express that in words. Like some people, speaking is profound and powerful, but for other people, it's just not. For me, here, has my hand held and deeply looked in my eyes because I feel so much. When I speak to people, it's because I can feel. And so words are so limiting for me. No word could express the deep connection and the depth of intimacy that I'm capable of. But to match that with me would be much more profound than words. Words to me feel like almost like a hindrance.
Yeah.
Thank you all.
Thank you. Mm. Mm. Are you, Andre?
Yeah.
Does your t-shirt reflect your head? I can only see crisis. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, my wife took me to a Banksy exhibition, and it was then she wanted to buy something for me, and I couldn't care less. But I mean, this one seemed like I guess a quick way to answer your question, which is the kind of question that normally startles me, and I every time I hear "How are you?" it's just like, well. Like, do you want a short version or a long version? Do you want a sincere version or what, like, give me more details. Like, how much time do you have? Like, what do you want to hear? What do you not want? Like, so I'm like, so usually I would just say fine or,
Yeah.
oh, bad, or bad, or I would say normal or, uh, manageable or,
Mm.
but I don't really like any of those answers because they are like, ugh. And I just keep. Because I remember I think in Avatar, the movie, they would just, I see you, right? They sort of something like this. Um, and I was at some point, and maybe not only once, but a few times in my life, I would look for a way to greet other people without uh obliging them to go into um um make adjustments to the greeting ritual so that it doesn't
Mm.
stress both parties so much. I don't know. And I think some Indians say aho or something like that, and I think some esoteric circles use that too. Um, so yeah, I was listening to Ramiz um and I thought to myself, why does it seem like because my life seems to be like a patchwork, like what do you call it, a patch blanket. So it's not like it's just it doesn't seem like a continuous flow. It's just it's different patches. It's like this love here for someone, this sense of intimacy, then this what Jenny expressed, and I can totally relate to that. That I feel I I don't know how to describe it, but sometimes the kind of stuff that I feel is so intense that I become hooked on it, and I feel like I'm addicted to feeling. Um, so whatever can bring me more feeling, um, seems to be more authentic or more alive or more real than um than something else. But yeah, I just feel like I'm strangling myself when I'm trying to describe it. I don't know, somehow something in me right now it's coming up, and it's I mean, I could label it as shame, I suppose, because it there's some sort of flushing, blushing, whatever in my cheeks, and um yeah. So I'm starting to strangle myself. So I'm starting to um having issues with what I said so far. Mm. And it almost feels like you go on a stage and you start telling people something, and then 5 minutes into it, well, I haven't had the feeling, but I'm sort of fantasizing that, and then 5 minutes into it, you just lose the, like, you have no clue why you're doing this, and you kind of lose the point of doing it, and you're talking to these people, but you're like, I don't really know why I'm doing this. And people sort of sense this in you, because they start to become nervous because they came they came with a purpose, and you.
So Andre, how are you feeling right now? Like, what's going on with you right now?
I just feel like this part of the body is a little, there's some tension in my ears, and some like I feel like the temperature is raising, and then my legs are also, so I'm like,
Okay, so just be
I
with
have,
that for a minute. Just be with that for a minute. Breathe into it. Come back into your body. Just be with that right here, right now. And you can even say, I don't know what I'm doing. Done.
I don't know what I'm doing, and I also want to say, but I'm not helping this I'm not helping to sell this group, or I'm not making this more appealing to people, this
Okay,
experience.
so try this. Try this. Go back in your body. Feel. I don't feel like I'm appealing to you guys.
And
Just like right direct. I don't feel appealing to you.
nothing really changes. It's just,
Nothing's supposed to change. What it's doing for you're telling the story about how you're trying to be appealing, and you're going direct and saying, I don't feel appealing. Done. Instead of telling the story about how you're trying to. Do you see the difference? It's subtle. Nothing's supposed to change. It's just focusing. You're still going to feel unappealing. You're
I
still
can
going to
almost
feel.
hear. Yeah, but I can almost, like, I have this strong voice in my head which says that, oh, you've done this so many times, and people are probably Well, yeah, people judging you because you're just repeating yourself. You like it's like mm,
So what do you, so go from the story to the feeling. I'm embarrassed. I'm embarrassed. I'm confused. I don't know how I feel. I want to be liked. You see, you're going to come from the story and go into the feelings. You're going to work your way in.
but the sensations are
There's not
it's
going to
just
go.
I just
They're
feel
not going
like the temperature is increasing.
Of course it is, because you're getting more focused. You're getting out of your head. I'm bringing you out of your head, telling the stories into your emotion, your thought. I'm bringing you in from, I'm trying to get you guys to like me. Okay, I feel like you guys don't like me. I'm embarrassed. I'm bringing you from the story in tighter, and it's going to raise the temperature. Because that's what the stories are doing, is keeping the temperature out. Bringing in, okay, I'm embarrassed. I feel ashamed. I'm confused. I want you guys to like me. I don't feel like I'm helping anything. Okay, now you're going to go now into emotions and then into sensations, tightening up the ship a little bit.
I don't really feel emotions. I just feel sensations right now.
Okay, be with that.
So, Andre, what comes up if I tell you you're right? Yes, you're boring and you're wasting our time, and stop repeating yourself.
It's well, that's
Can you be that? Boring, repetitive. Here he goes again.
some
Can you
people are
be
like that and they're happy with it. Like they're just
So be with that. Be with it, because you're resisting it. We're all
I
boring. We all repeat ourselves.
okay.
But the difference is you're not okay with it.
No, I'm not.
So
And so when you say this, Vince, it's like part of me is like, I told you. So it's not a surprise. So you're not really
sit
Yeah.
with that. Sit with being boring and repetitive. Just sit with that for a minute. Don't run from it.
oh, I don't believe it.
You don't believe you're
Well,
boring?
yeah, well, that's the it almost feels like I'm flirting now with I'm telling you it's a fucking mechanism. It's like I'm telling you I'm boring, and then you tell me, okay, you're boring, and then I'll tell you, no, I'm not. But then so this it's a game. It's a
So just sit with that. Sit with and watch it. It is a game. That's what we do. That's what we all do.
so I'm trying to get your confirmation that I'm not boring by telling you I am boring. And
Mhm. I'm okay with you being boring. And sometimes you're not boring, because you're both. You're both. You're everything and nothing. You're both simultaneously happening at the same time. You don't have to pick one. You're interesting and boring. I'm interesting and boring. We're everything all at once, happening at the same time. We don't need to pick one.
I don't want to be boring.
Oh, but you are sometimes. Some people are going to perceive you as boring. If you can learn to be okay with, I can be that for you. I can be that for you. And breathe into that.
No, there's the oh
Yeah, be with it. Be with it. I can be that, because your resistance is what's causing the pain. Your resistance is what causes the suffering. I can be that for you. Just be with that. I can be that for you. It gives you so much freedom to be able to be whatever people project on you. It's okay.
What you project on you. You bore yourself sometimes, don't you?
You think people are projecting on you. Some do, some don't. We don't really know what other people are thinking. But yeah,
there's Yeah, but there's something like I'm not okay with. Like I don't see how I'm playing. Well, I know it's a game, but I'm not able to get inside of this game and
You
be
don't need
okay
to.
with being boring, like you said.
Okay, you're trying in your head again. I'm just telling you. I can just say, okay, I'm boring. It's okay. We're not going to try to get in the game. We're just going to get in the game. It's okay to be boring. It's okay. I can be that for you. Sometimes I'm boring.
I
And
just
just
keep
sit.
feeling heat inside my
Yes. Good. Sit with that. Sit with that. That's what you're trying to run from.
some there's some anger, some aggression is coming up.
Okay, be with that. Be with that. How dare you think I'm boring?
Yeah. You know you're boring. How dare you
Yes,
call me boring?
I can totally be boring.
What is this?
Just be with it. Don't try to understand it. Just be with it. Just watch.
No, but I can when you say, "Oh, I'm boring," I'm like, "Oh, but I put myself higher than you." Well, not higher, but I feel like
Fuck you. You're boring. It's okay. I can be boring. I can be boring. I can be whatever you need. Just be with that. The thing you don't want to be. Be with the thing you don't want to be. You spend your whole life running away from don't anything but that. Spend so much energy, anything but that. So be the thing you're running from. Let it in.
you have to teach me how to be boring. I don't know how to be boring. Sorry.
Okay, there you go. Okay, so now you're not boring. So it does, you see, it's not that you're boring or not boring. None of it's true. It's that you're running from a belief that you shouldn't be boring or boring's bad, right? It's not true that you're boring or not boring. None of that's true. You're just not going to run away from not being it. Now you're free.
No.
Now you can be not boring and it won't matter.
Mm. I don't understand why boring is bad.
Yeah, who says it's bad, right? Oh well.
Mm. No, it's not.
I have a story that boring is good. Boring sits on top of anger, and anger sits on top of fear, and fear sits on top of terror, and terror sits on top of shame. And you experienced a bit of shame earlier on, but you got boring, got you right away from that. It was a brilliant escape. Now, we were talking about being bored, not about shame.
No, but it's not being bored, it's being boring to other people. It's like I feel like I am boring you. So it's
Which
different. So I
shameful. It's shameful. I'm boring
shameful.
you. It's shameful.
Yeah. Like I am wasting your fun.
So it's okay. You're wasting our time.
Not
It's
time,
shameful.
fun.
Wasting our
Like
fun. You're just a
yeah.
waste all around. Like you see, feel that. That's shame. of being a waste of breath.
Oh fuck. It's just like it's a squeezing. Oh, yeah, it basically squeezes the whole body into just, it's like a contraction from all
Be
the
with it.
sides.
Yeah, just be with it. In fact, help it. Take your hands and squeeze. Help it. Help it squeeze. Tense all your muscles and just squeeze. Help it. That's what that shame feels like. Tighten your legs. Tighten every muscle in your body. As tight as the shame is around you. Help it squeeze.
Oh,
Just keep breathing.
it's very deep.
Yeah, just keep breathing.
Put your hands back over your face the way they were a second ago and ask yourself, are you hiding from something? Is it something you don't want to see?
uh, it's like you. No, it's more like what I feel is like it's just like worthless. It's like this. That's somehow what got triggered because it's shame, and Jenny asked me something to do something, and I I had this like bodily response that I'm not doing it properly, and then you asked me, and I'm like, oh, again, I'm fucking it up. I'm like, I'm not doing it properly, so I'm just, and then from that I jumped into this. I just can't do what you're asking me to, or I believe like I cannot give you what you want. I cannot deliver what you want, and because of that, I feel like stuck and
Just feel
worthless,
that.
basically.
Feel that, the worthlessness, the shame, the not enough. Everything that came up.
And stuck as well.
Yeah, all of that, and the tightness around it. Just breathe. Keep breathing. Keep breathing.
And it's not about what we want, it's about you.
Just keep breathing.
You see how I hit it deep inside so well.
Oh, see, yeah, but look at this. Keep breathing. Keep breathing. Yeah. It wants to hide, but it's not. Keep breathing.
The distance between your voices and whatever I'm feeling is so huge. It almost like I'm somewhere very deep inside and
Let's just keep breathing. Just keep breathing. And you can make sound too. And whatever that brings up when I say that is perfect.
I do feel embarrassed.
Yeah, so be with it. Be with that. Be with the embarrassment.
I feel embarrassed for feeling what I'm feeling, and I feel embarrassed for not being able to explain it to you.
You don't have to explain it. You don't have to explain it. We're right there with you. We're right there with you. There's no need to explain. Just keep being with it. I believe we've all been here. And if you're not, you're helping us. Now open your eyes and look at all the people. You don't need to wipe your eyes. Just look right where you're at. Nothing changes. You're being seen. At your core.
That's a bit too intense.
Yeah.
And I was just on before I opened my eyes, I was going from that to like anger, I suppose, which is even more scary to feel than what I felt, I suppose. Yeah, and I was well, and when I say this, I just feel like I should open the eyes because I feel I like adrift. I start to space out or whatever the.
That's beautiful. And believe it or not, your anger will be just as beautiful.
When you say this, my hands are I feel my hands different now. I feel my bum different. Hmm. Uh, it it feels like there's more, but yeah, maybe.
Well, there
I don't
is
know.
more.
Maybe there's an idea that it has to all come out at once, but yeah, it's just the usual. Like I can't really tell a good story along with it. It's just
No, there's always more. There's no need. It'll come up in perfect timing. There's always more.
yeah.
So let's put it this way. It seemed to me, Andre, that there is something you don't want to see. And I was saying that because you were covering your eyes and you were keeping your eyes closed. So you don't want to see something. So as a fantasy, what do you imagine will happen when you do see whatever it is you're hiding from yourself? It's just a fantasy, no right or wrong.
Well, I have one response is maybe I'm not, maybe one response is there's an image of when I cover my eyes, it's basically I'm so helpless and alone, and then and it's just my way to to protect myself is
Mm,
to close my eyes and just try and stay sort of in one like
yep. Okay.
hole in a way. And but if um I guess what it is that I don't want to see is that when I open my eyes, I see that no one gives a fuck. Like there's abs like no fucks giving,
Yeah,
whether
yeah,
you're
yeah,
crying,
yeah, yeah.
whether you're bad or not, whether you're like embarrassed. I don't care. It's just
Mm,
whatever.
mm.
Coldness.
You'll see that we're all totally bored. Mm,
Yeah, and like, oh fuck, not this tantrum, not this, no, oh no, not this scene again. Not like it's like, and what do you do? Do you just swallow it? Do you stop crying? Do you just stop shouting? Do you just stop it? Like, like parents tell their kids, stop it. Okay,
mm,
sure.
mm,
Like,
mm.
would you then? What like, fuck? I mean,
Andre, we've never spoken before. I hope it's not too much of an interruption for me to speak with you. But
no, it's okay.
two things come to mind. I was really struck when you said, I feel embarrassed that I can't explain myself to you, that I can't put it into words. And then also your hands over your face. Both of those felt very, very young to me. Very, very young. And that place where we really can't tell a story, because there is not yet a story to be told. There is only the feelings. And that reminded me very much of the little child who covers their face and thinks you can't see them.
Mm.
That young.
Yeah, that totally felt that young. Yeah.
Yeah. And do you have children?
No, not yet.
No, not yet. If you had children and you had a child in a moment who felt what you were feeling, what would you give them? What would you do for them? Yeah, that's the compassion, isn't it? Yeah. Yeah. That's the compassion you have to give. That's why you're going that deep. Because you're ready. Because you are the father now.
It just, well, yeah, I guess I'm theoretical, but it feels so natural to give this to a child.
Yes, it does. But you have to recognize it's a child in order to do it.
Yeah, you have to recognize that it's just a child. It's not, it's not trying to destroy your life or there's no story. You're not reacting. It's like I have these issues with the cat sometimes. The cat pukes all over the place, and I'm sometimes like, oh, he's doing it on purpose. But no, it's just a cat.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
What you can do, you just give it a hug and just hold it. That's it, pretty much.
That's it. That's it. That's what Jenny keeps telling you.
Thank you. Yeah, yeah. If I wish, I wish. And in theory, probably that's but in reality, I guess people also have their tantrums and adults as well. And I don't really know who is having a stronger emotion, a child or a parent who's responding to those emotions. I think David mentioned it the other day that that children are expressing it and then parents are not able to process it or see, like, they haven't felt this way, or they felt back when they were kids and then they sort of put a lid on it, and now when it's all coming up, like, everyone is having fucking tantrum,
But you're not doing that because you will have been there when your child comes along and
well, hopefully. Hopefully, or maybe I'm just maybe not.
So, Andre, in December, when you have a baby, and
Yeah,
you relate
totally.
to that baby, will you be relating to that baby as it is, or will you be relating to that baby as you are?
I don't know. I mean, I'll
You're going to
just
find out in 6 months.
I'll tell you when the time comes, and when, I mean, I can tell you now that I'm gonna wake up in the morning 6 a.m., put on my sneakers, run 10 miles and eat healthy and all that, but next morning I just wake up tomorrow, have 2 cups of coffee, three sweet whatever, and then four, and then watch a series and never wake up, destroy my body, destroy my life, and then no, I mean, I wish.
But what'll happen will happen. And right now, you being with your emotions is preparing you for your baby.
yeah. Yeah.
You're being the daddy to you.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I think what
Yeah.
is very important and an invitation maybe that you can have to those days is to really be clear that no one can produce emotion inside of you. And a child cannot produce it in the sense that a child or a relationship or anyone outside is not the cause of your emotions. Never. And this is a freedom that go both ways. That also means that if someone outside there is having emotion, you are not the cause of it. Maybe your behavior is triggering them, but this emotion is not your cause, it's not your fault, it's not your responsibility. and trying to make to this may allow to you to really take responsibility of your own fate, your own emotions, and to be more worried about yourself, about how you feel, and let people around you having their own emotion.
I think what you're saying, I mean, there are some emotions on my list that I guess I can be okay with when people are having them, especially intense ones, but others are when I mean anger, for example, or those are still remain to be seen through or unlocked or whatever.
Yeah, but it's
I
fine. You see, if someone is having an emotion and you react, I'm not saying don't react. I'm saying be clear that the other anger is not the cause of your anger, or the other action is not the cause of your anger. The cause is always inside of you. It's a thought, it's a belief, or it's a repressed emotion. So the
well,
other out there is not the cause of your of your of the way your emotional experience is.
it's just this clarity comes after the emotion is experienced and not before. So I don't usually have the gap. I feel an emotion as a response, and then I might sort of step back and look at it and see that it's inside of me. But I still have, like, when people cut me off, I still, I think it's them doing it,
Mm.
and this is my response to their action. So I see them as a cause of my anger or my swearing or whatever, not
Mhm.
as, and I know there's a need in me and I believe it shouldn't be done this way, blah, blah, blah. There's a whole story, but I usually, I'm not that balanced or clear when that happens,
Mm.
I guess. It's just,
You know,
So,
Fine.
yeah, go on.
Okay. It will over time. It will it you'll be able to step back more and more. But the step back will happen naturally when you see first that what you're already seeing. You see not at the moment, but just after you see that the emotions inside you. But you can also see that your reaction doesn't go anywhere. Also, when you scream at someone, all of this anger doesn't leave you and go into the other people. It just stay inside you constantly. So you are like in a inside loop constantly. And the more you see that, the more you will be free of the world outside of you. And this can be a preparation of being a father, because when the baby screams or like your cat, you are seeing with your cat and you're experiencing right now. When your baby, actually when it's your baby, it's something else. You'll see it trigger you so much, like it has to stop. Like it but truly, if I feel desperate, it's because it's my own history, my own baby that I have to take care of. It has nothing to do with my baby. I take care of my baby the best way I can. But my emotion, it's the cause is not because my baby is crying or is doing anything. Because I have a part of me that is triggered by its behavior.
Mm.
And I have experienced this. It's possible to be with behavior that are very triggering in the story, but you don't feel emotion because there is there is no reactivity in the system anymore. Some screaming.
come on, Davey, tell me you never snapped when your baby cried.
Snap. I'm not sure
As
what you
in,
mean.
like,
No,
have your
what?
own
No,
tantrum.
my tantrum was I had no sleep. I was very tired, and it's difficult. Physically, it's very difficult. So of course there is tension. Of course there is, food, time, and everything goes away. And after, I mean, it's a whole experience. I'm not saying that it was easy, but I never get angry to my child because he had emotion. And I think this is already good for him. I like to believe that.
Yeah.
So there's something, Andre, that comes to mind that could be a really clear thing. The person that cuts you off isn't the reason why you're feeling angry, right? That person triggered what was already in you. So it's never about what comes up. It's never about what happens. It's always about what that triggers, what's underneath it. So that person, no matter what they're like, when they cut you off, whatever happens, they're just triggering what's already in you. And what they trigger is very likely to be an escape plan.
Can you
Right?
elaborate?
Yes. So they cut you off and they trigger anger that's in you. And that anger is your way of avoiding what's underneath it, which has got a whole other story about why do people keep doing this to me? Why is it happening? What am I? Is it because I'm worthless because they don't care about me, or whatever the story is? I don't know what the actual details are, but it doesn't matter. But they're not the reason why you're angry. You're angry because of something inside you. They just triggered it for you. So if the baby triggers you into a state of any kind, it's because of what's already in you, not because of the baby.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. Well, it really depends. Like, I think you said this to Don, like, if there's an adult in the room, so it really depends on, I don't think it's a role or personality or, so sometimes I'm so balanced and so okay with whatever is happening. So even though they cut me off, I just smile, and I might occasionally tell them, why do you do that and things like that. But it wouldn't be anger. It would be more like um not disappointment, but like oh come on, like
Yeah, I get it. Yeah.
like and then especially when I see people throwing cigarettes out of the cars, that's sometimes I feel anger. Sometimes I'm like, come on, it's our home, it's your plan. Like why, like who do you think is gonna clean it up after you? But sometimes I just sometimes if there's it builds up and then I have to
Yeah.
release it, then they just help me release it like that,
Yeah. But like David was saying earlier, if we're tired or if we're sick, those things come to the surface a lot easier.
Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh
Mm.
yeah.
I just want
Yeah.
to add something to what Vince said, because often it's people point to what Vince said, but we forget the other half. The other behavior is just triggering what is inside you, but it's the same with others. If someone come to you and is mad with you and start to scream, you are not the cause of his emotion. Maybe act in a way that can be improved and whatever, but you're not the cause of the emotion of the other. It goes both ways, and if you pay attention with this, you can really be. I mean, in relationship, you can experience a freedom that it's very nice. It's very nice. Just to add this because it goes both ways,
Mm.
And as a child, we often take responsibility of the emotion of the parent, and after we keep this imprint inside of us.
I don't know if this is related, but I just want to tell you this real quick. I had I was Ubering yesterday and I had a no, it was today actually. Yeah, it was today. So I had a passenger and he was it was a cheap trip. It was like 10, I think $10 trip, something like that, 10 kilometers. And I saw through the back mirror, I saw the guy counting money. Like he had like wads of, like a lot of cash on him. I don't know, maybe it was a drug dealer, whatever. It doesn't, I don't know. So he was like, he's sitting there and counting all this money. And when he came in, I was like, oh, this is just a random passenger. I don't care about him, whatever, so, and then I see the money, and the part of me is like, what if he gives me, what if he gives me $10,000? Just as they show in the movies, right? And and then I feel like well, I'm becoming like I am ready to give up part of my anger and borders and conflicts and all that in order to please the guy, because I have this fantasy that if I please him, then, well, I basically become like a prostitute for him. Like, but from not being a prostitute, I become a prostitute, and I could sort of feel myself. Mm. And I feel myself um, giving something up which is important to me in order to get what I fantasized about getting. And at the same time, I felt disgusted by it because, like, is there a more natural way of getting what I want without giving up? Without, there's a word, I forgot it, without, what, kissing, not kissing, what's the, like, up something? What?
Compromise? Compromise? Compromise yourself,
Kind of
suck up?
Yeah, suck up. Yeah, suck up. I felt so like part of me wants to suck up to get a benefit, to get something from them. And I don't know if I'm gonna get it at all. Like it's just a fantasy. And part of me is like, you're really gonna do that? And and so I could see these two sort of bargaining and I mean I didn't. But I mean I probably would if I were giving a chance, but it just felt so funny to see it in action. I haven't seen this like in a long time. Like you suck up to people to yeah to get something from them, even if they're not. You don't really know if they will give it to you, but and it could be. I don't know. Maybe it's related, maybe it's unrelated, but I just felt like I wanted to tell you this.
And I think it's very related. Because the money have no power, right? So you have a picture of papers and you project of the story. Everything you spoke about was inside you, inside your experience. And I invite you to really check with your relation, check with your wife in the morning or when you go to bed. Are you nice with her because you expect something with her? You want a hug? Why do you want a hug? Because you want to feel good. So you expect something and if you watch carefully with your boss, with your friend, with your neighbor, with your cat, you want your cat to have a hug. You will see that I mean, a big part of human life it's about getting something from objects, from people, from everyone, you know. I mean, I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just saying it's a mechanism, and if you look carefully, you can see it, you can see very interesting things.
Mm.
So I think it's very relevant. With my kid, I would love to every morning and every night to give him kiss and hug him, but he doesn't want to, Like very few times. Often he's kind of really, he's not so much giving hug, and I miss it. And I feel sometimes I want this, you know. So I'm clear with myself. I want a hug from him, and he said no, and I have to deal with my own frustration, and acceptance and all of this. But it's just the way that the human brain is processed, and it's weird.
So how old is your son, David?
It's 3 years.
3 years old, yeah. And already he says, I know what I want and what I don't want.
Oh yeah, so
Yeah,
much.
great.
It's so
Yeah,
hard
yeah.
at so many levels, but it's great. It's really great to see him with his own boundaries, and I'm very happy that he's capable to say no to me. Because if he can say no to me, I mean, I hope he can say no to other people, you know. So that's a valuable.
Yeah, beautiful.
Thank you, guys.
You have really good insight, Andre. You really whatever, lucky, talented, whatever you want to say in that area. Yeah. I like that you can see what you see. Yeah. Yeah. How have you been, Yvonne?
Oh, I don't know. It's difficult to. I suppose I feel like an old train that's being shunted about.
That's a good analogy. Yeah. Yeah.
I've been exiled to the north, to a bit further up north in England. I've been to a place called Norfolk, to another son. One son has got rid of me and sent me to another son.
Oh,
So
okay.
and there's quite a few children here. Well, 2, but they're young, so it's quite full on. But the only house I've got is in France, and so I'm homeless. I was going to say hopeless, hopelessly homeless, and but
so what does it feel like to be a bit of baggage that gets pushed around from one place to another?
Well, at first I felt really angry and pissed off because the son I was staying with, he didn't actually address it and talk to me. He asked my other son to have me. Not that I've been a nuisance. It's just they're going through such awful, difficult times, and then the ones that got rid of me, they could possibly even get divorced. It's getting that bad. And I think my daughter-in-law just couldn't cope with me around. So, but they didn't tell me. So I felt really, I went through all this stuff and disliking my daughter-in-law and thinking about all the things I don't like about her. And then my son, who I love very much, who asked my other son to have me, I felt bad about it. I felt bad towards him too. And then I had to I was really triggered, and I had to really, I'm having to, it's an ongoing process. Well, I just feel it out, and, you know, go to the sensations of it, and I'm okay about that now. Strangely enough, a lot of the time, I'm fine, but my situation's like a nightmare, really. And yeah, and where I live in France, I think I might have mentioned, I don't wish to be boring. I was talking about. He's poor man. I think I might have mentioned it. He's got COPD, and he can't breathe. He can only walk 5 yards. He's lost his memory. And I might have mentioned he sometimes phone me up, says, I made you a cup of tea. Where are you? And I have to say, I'm in England. And he goes, oh, as long as I know where you are. I think I might have mentioned that, but I don't know. And so I've got to go back to that next month. And I believe the place is a filthy mess, and it's almost unlivable. And yeah, it's great, you know. It's like a mess everywhere. But most of the time, I feel I'm triggered. I feel it, and and then I just don't want to feel that really bad. And so yeah, in and out, up and down. Yeah, I'm doing a lot of meditation, keeping calm. Yeah, I think I'm all right, despite the fact that I don't think I've ever been quite so insecure, really. And there's no security, I know, but this seriously, you know, most people would be like, wow. And in the past, I would have been, but yeah, I don't know. It's difficult.
And the waiting list that you're on for the heart operation, is that in England or France?
No, it's in England.
Okay,
because
okay.
I came over 2 years ago and had my stroke, a stroke of luck, maybe. It stopped me doing things, stopped me overdoing things. And then they discovered the heart. And it's just been appointment after appointment. I just found myself in England. I mean, luckily I'm covered. I'm resident in France, but I haven't been there for 2 years. And I'm probably illegal as well. I probably shouldn't be here for this length of time. I've got so much stuff, you know, that's like, I don't know. I'm so insecure, it's unbelievable. And yet, I'm fine. I think.
Yeah.
Most of the time. I get triggered and then I go, whoa. And I quite often I feel where it is in my body. I feel the sensation of it. But I also offer it up, which might sound a bit like I'm bypassing, but I say, oh, I'll offer this up as well. It's a bit much. You probably think that's terrible.
No, it sounds pretty good to me. It sounds like you're watching and you're seeing what comes up, and as a result of that, it's changing.
But I seem to be more and more triggered by much stuff that's coming in, and especially an old relationship where I was treated. In the past, I was treated badly, and I got done. I had a bad divorce where I should have got much more money, and I felt very bad for years about that. And then it's disappeared. And then now this person's come back in my life and apologized, and there's been a part of me that's want to go through all the old crappy stuff to say, yeah, you did this to me, you did that to me, and by the way, you owe me a lot of money. And that's really triggering, and I have to really, because I don't like it, and I don't want to go through all that. I don't want to. It doesn't. I just, although money's involved, I don't really want to, and I don't want to go down there, that old place. And so that's been one of the biggest triggers, more so than anything else. And yeah, but it comes back, but it's not as bad when it comes back as it was to start with. It's not so big. And back it comes, I get all hooked into it, go into the story, and whoa, do I get into that story? And then I think, what the fuck am I doing? And I have to sort of unhook myself and come back. So it's like that.
I want to point out to you that you're not actually doing the unhooking. unhooking happens because you see it. Yeah, but yeah, so I don't know whether it was just language you used or you actually felt a sense of agency or control with that. But if you did, that's something to look at.
Yes, I guess I'm quite visual, and so I quite like using that word. I suppose that it feels like I'm hooked in. Yeah, so that I'm not unhooking.
Mm.
I'm seeing it. Yes.
Yes. Seeing it is enough to let it go. Yeah.
I like to be. It's almost like just using words as a picture, almost like hooking. But yeah.
It's very evocative, isn't it? I mean and it's really accurate in the sense that that attachment to it appears to be like hooks that are.
But I mean, almost it's incredible. And I just don't want it. I mean, if not to be in there.
Yeah, that can be a bit of a trick too, though. They're not wanting it.
Yeah.
Doesn't get you. That doesn't get you out of it. That's just a way of trying to avoid it. But essentially, it doesn't help. Yeah.
But I mean, I'm not in it now. I'm not in it now, and I feel good.
Yes. And so,
but I'm in it. I feel bad. I feel like when sometimes I'm meditating, and it'll bloody get in here somehow. This thought comes, and then the story starts, and I feel like I'm on fire. I feel like my whole system is on fire because I'm supposed to be calm in a meditation, and my head's crazy, and I'm having this battle.
Yeah.
And
Right. So can we offer you something where the battle is different, right? So what I'm saying is I know you said I don't want it, and that's really the beginning of the battle, isn't it? That's where it starts.
Yeah.
But in reality, what you're not wanting, that battle, that is a gift for you. It's a gift that shows you that you've got something buried there that you're responding to. And so again, that ex-husband, he's not what it's about. He's just the trigger for what's in you.
But there is still a lot in here still that's saying he wronged me.
Yes, sure.
And I should write it. I mean, he should know just the depth of what he did to me and the son I had at the time.
Okay. And what you're feeling is there. Right? And it has validity simply because it is there. But what it is about, the story that you're telling yourself of what it's about, and it's about him and the wrongs he did you, is not what it's about. Right? That's just the trigger. And what it's about is what's in you. And it was there a long time before you even met him.
Yeah.
And the only way it's going to come out is when you become friends with it. You're not going to get rid of it by fighting it.
No. Oh, I know that. But I do find the fight is there. There's when I'm meditating.
Yes.
I'm on fire. I feel this.
And that heat is resistance. That's resistance. It's like brakes on a car. It's from friction. The heat comes from friction.
Yeah.
When I have a reoccurring thought that's like that, and I'm like, I do not want to think this again. Stop it, and I push it away. I don't know if you've ever heard of Byron Katie, but she has a really great way of unraveling what we're making up. He's done me wrong. Is it true? And just every thought, you write it down. She said, all war belongs on paper. So you write down the thought and you question it and you allow it to unravel and bring the wisdom, because what I find is when something keeps coming back, if I can't drop it and it keeps coming back, it's trying to give me some information. And so by me resisting it, not only am I fighting it, it's very stressful on the body, but I'm also, it's coming back until I get the gold, until I get the wisdom it's trying to show me. So he's done me wrong. Is it true? And then just allow the inquiry, the meditative inquiry, because you're not seeking with your mind answers. It's a meditative inquiry into the nothing that the answers come. And it reveals something deep to you when you embrace it rather than resist it. It's very hard on the body to resist something that keeps coming back because it's trying to show you something.
Yeah.
And like Finn said, it was there before you ever met him. It has nothing to do with him. He's the angel sent from heaven to help you discover it.
Yeah. Wow. It's like I know it's, well, I was going to call it a gift. I won't call it a gift. It's I don't know, just recently so much stuff is coming at me and so much triggering. And it's just, wow.
Life is for you. Life happens for you.
Yeah.
Not to you. And when you stop resisting it and you inquire into it, it will set you free because it'll balance you. You're out of balance. And when you stop resisting it and you get the information because you've inquired, you'll balance out and then you'll be free. You'll be free.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of me that knows this, of course. I know all this, but at the same time.
It's a reminder.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Sometimes we don't know we're resisting. It's like this survival fight. I'm not resisting, I'm surviving. I don't know, it's just, and it's like, oh my God, I'm resisting. Yeah.
But recently also, I just keep saying everything is just another experience. I mean, I don't know if it's the same thing. It's not, but to do with it. But it's getting just everything. I just have to keep reminding myself, this is just another experience, and then another experience, and another experience. And I mean, I know there's work to do inside that, but yeah.
That's a good one. I like that. Yeah. Not just another experience, though. It's not just another experience. It is another experience.
Yeah. But that helps. That really helps.
It does. It gives you an objectivity. Yeah, it's great.
Yeah. I was almost. Sorry?
I was going to say it really helped me too when I heard, life is for me. It's not happening to me. It's happening for me. And I just did that in the beginning. What do you mean it's happening for me? Of course it's happening to me. But I get it now. Everything is happening for me to help me get back in balance.
I keep reminding myself, life has got my back. Life has got my back, yeah. But
Yes.
it's
It's gift
interesting,
wrap.
but it's gift wrapped, yes. With a pink bow, yes.
Mm.
But thank you all. I was dreading being asked. I thought I wouldn't be able to explain it all. It all seems so complicated at the moment. Like wow.
Yeah, you see, and I think that's like Andre, when you're trying to explain it, you see, that's so common. How can I explain this?
Exactly.
But it ends up being understood.
It's just so great to be able to really to have people to share this with. It's wonderful.
Yeah, it is great.
Well, I need to go, guys.
Oh, bye-bye. Thank you.
Bianca, I just wanted to mention that currently the website at Liberation Unleashed is down, and it's been down for a week, and we're waiting for it to get fixed. That's a bit frustrating, but yeah.
I found out something about me when recently there were people opening up a lot in the meetings, and I realized that usually it's about something painful, and it's about sadness and pain, and there is a lot of crying, and and I would like to be so, to be taken apart in such a way, but but
Yeah, the big but, yeah.
the but is the strongest emotions that come up, that get triggered here, is anger. I haven't seen anyone here showing, exploding with anger. That's it would be so.
I've seen little glimpses of it in you, and I can imagine that there's a huge amount of anger there. When even those little glimpses have been very strong and very sharp, that anger, yeah. And you know what? Yeah, I want to give you permission. You're allowed to let it all out. You're allowed to swear at everybody and do whatever you want, That's if that happens. I also recognize that you probably keep a lid on it somehow.
Yeah, I let it go, but it's always in a controlled way.
Yeah, and I can imagine if you let it out, other people here will get permission to let their own anger come up as well. Yeah. I know about
So
anger.
sometimes
Yeah.
it's so mischievous.
Yeah.
When we were talking, Andre was talking about being boring, and I thought about one person in my life that is very boring, and he doesn't realize.
Yeah, boring people don't, do they?
It's not that they are okay with being boring. They
No,
are just in denial.
yeah.
And I thought that if I would tell him, you know, you are very boring, but I'm okay with it. It would be so mischievous. So it would hurt him to the core.
Yeah, people do take things personally, don't they? They won't get it when you say it's okay. Yeah, usually.
It's this kind of killing someone with politeness. And but at the same time, it's I know that I don't want to really harm him, just to harm his ego.
Mm.
This fake artificial thing that doesn't exist.
So in a way, you imagine that it would be good for him for you to rattle his ego cage a little bit.
Who knows?
Who knows? Yeah, exactly.
No, I'm not. It's just an urge to let out the anger without making a story that would be helpful or unhelpful.
Yeah. So can you recognize where the keeping the anger down, not expressing the anger, can you recognize where that comes from? Is that a cultural thing for you, or a cultural thing in your family, or just you personally? Or is it's just socially not appropriate to let anger out? Maybe. Can you see what stops it from, what keeps it contained?
I think that it is something in me, because what my mother told me about my childhood. I have a sister 2 years younger, and when we were little, I was about 3 years old. She was 1 year old, and I was building something with blocks, wooden blocks, and she would come and push it and destroy it. I never got angry with her. I was sad, but never angry.
So you say you were sad but not angry. Was there anger there that was unexpressed?
I don't remember any of
Yeah,
it.
you don't know. Okay, yeah.
I don't think I would be able at this age to suppress anger. I don't
Oh,
know.
well, yeah, it's hard to say that one. Yeah, we do learn at a very young age what's not appropriate. And yeah, but I guess at 3 years old we don't have that kind of control anyway. If we feel angry, we express it at 3 years old. That's it. Yeah. So yeah, maybe that wasn't an issue. So the anger came later.
I think there was indignation.
Mm-hmm.
I could express indignation as a
Mm.
child. Yeah.
But even that got transmuted into sadness because your sister was very young and obviously wasn't saying it was just what she was doing. Yeah.
Yeah, and in this case, I don't think there was indignation.
Okay.
There was no, she shouldn't do it.
Yeah. Yeah. Mm. Mm.
I think that it is I don't want to add to the cruelty of the world.
Mm. Even at that age, you were feeling that, do you think?
I wouldn't say it like that.
Yeah, yeah, of course. Yeah. Mm.
But I feel it is strong belief in me. Do not harm.
Mm. Yeah. And that's partly because you see so much of that around you in the world already. You don't want to add to that. Mm.
I also think that you, Vince, you wouldn't be able to trigger me.
Well, I can't trigger anybody really. Everybody knows that something. Yeah, you saw how futile it was trying to trigger Andre. He just laughed at me. Yeah. Mm. Yeah. But a point may come where you don't need triggering, that you will be able to contact that easily anyway, maybe. And sometimes triggering isn't like a forceful thing, it's more like a permission. Sometimes that's the way triggers work. Yeah. But I imagine, and I don't know how accurate this fantasy is, but I imagine that you have that you are exhibiting some insight that wasn't there before, or maybe it was there, but it wasn't being shown before, but now it is. So you are seeing, you're a deep thinker, uh, and you think about things at a level that's pretty unique, I think. Yeah. You
Yeah,
certainly,
a blessing and a curse.
the blessing of the curse, did you say?
A blessing and a curse.
And the curse, yeah, yeah. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, for sure. Mm, yeah. Well, let's transmute all of the curse part into blessing part. Yeah. Mm.
Yeah, I feel a bit stuck at it because I, I can't examine it on my own.
Yes, we hide from ourselves too easily, don't we? We just, yeah, we hide from ourselves too easily. We fool ourselves very easily, yeah. And sometimes it just takes like a bit of reflection back, like a mirror, a personal mirror, that, and then all of a sudden we see it differently. Yeah.
It just doesn't get triggered when I am on my own.
Mm. You don't give yourself permission to express that stuff?
On my own?
Yes, on your own, yeah.
It just doesn't come up.
Doesn't happen, okay. It's not like it's there, but you keep it down. It just doesn't happen. It just doesn't get triggered. Okay. Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah. Do you watch the news?
No,
You don't see the news on TV? Yeah. Does that trigger you if you do see it?
no, it bores me.
Boys, yeah, it is the same old shit all the time, isn't it? Over and over again. Yeah, can be pretty boring. Mm.
My parents watch news all the time, and sometimes they relate to me, and it's so much about he said this and he said that, and how could he said something like that, and I'm oh my God.
Mm.
Why do you care at all?
And if you come back in a year's time, exactly the same stuff is going on, just with different people and different subjects, but still the same stuff. Yeah.
Yes, and no one remembers what someone said a year ago.
Mm. So the cruelty of the world isn't something that uh, you come into contact with on a regular basis. It's just something that you know is there. Is that accurate? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Is it there if you don't think about it?
The cruelty of the world?
Mm.
Is it where? There.
Does it exist?
It's
For
still
you, for
affect
not in an absolute way, but for you, does it exist for you if you don't think about it,
it
or is it
still affects me.
it still affects you even though you're not thinking about it? Yeah. Okay. How does it affect you? Do you see how that happens? Do you see what the result of that effect is?
I think I have a lot of defenses.
Mm-hmm. Well, that would be seem quite reasonable, because without those defenses, there would be a lot of pain, wouldn't there? So those defenses are a way of lessening the pain, say by not thinking about it or by excusing it in some way. What are the defenses? What are the defenses that you experience?
Mm. There are distractions. Mm. Yes, and not thinking about it, putting it
Yeah.
on, put it away, don't think about it. Mm-hmm.
That would be more like suppression than denial. Would that be accurate? Mm.
Jadedness.
Say that again.
I don't know if it is a word. Being jaded.
Jaded. Yeah. 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 That's another defense, though, isn't it? That's a bit like being bored with it.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah, of course.
Just to have a, well, it seems to me that you're avoiding something now, Bianca, and instead of just being with it or going right into it, you philosophize about concepts and cruelty and abstract things, which are important, I'm sure, but maybe it's just I'm wrong, but I just feel like, and when you said anger, I was when I was a Gestalt student, and when you're part of that group, usually when you say I'm angry, the trainer, well, that's I think that's a Gestalt thing, but the trainer will ask you, like, look at the group and see who you're angry with, because usually there's someone who triggers you in the group because it's in the group setting, and to a point where this question becomes just a I don't want to hear it again, but it's just an idea, you know. Maybe someone triggers more of it in you, someone less. I don't know. But just whatever you have now, I think is more important, at least to me, than the the spaceships that, you know, are able to um travel at the light of speed through the dimensions of, I mean, that's just me being curious about you rather than the concept.
Yeah. It's easy. Like I said, Vince wouldn't be able to trigger me. For Jenny and David, it's super easy.
So, okay. It's just like that. Out of that, I want to create what Vince does when he with his interventions, like, so you're too scared to be angry with Vince, or Vince looks too peaceful to you, or too
No.
menacing, too dangerous, because you don't know.
No.
You don't know the shit he did in his life, right? I don't.
I don't, but well, he's guiding me for half a year, more than half a year now. And I would say Vince is a connection junkie.
Connection junkie.
Connection junkie. And he will do anything to get this connection. And what really angers me and frustrates me is miscommunication and lack of connection. And with Jenny and David, they easily trigger me because they have a habit of telling others what they feel.
And Vince doesn't do it?
No, he always says, I imagine there is a story in my mind.
So are you being angry with him not showing his feelings? I don't know. It's a question. It doesn't have to be true.
No, I'm not angry with Vince because he does not trigger the anger in me.
Yeah, but you said that he's not showing his feelings to you, right? I mean, that's how I heard you.
No. He's not.
You said
pushing.
David and Jenny are showing their feelings.
No.
Oh, okay.
Then Jenny, in her guiding, often tells the other person what the other person is feeling. This
Does
is
it help
how
you?
I hear it.
So it helps you when Jenny tells you how you feel.
Yes, it triggers me.
Am I sensing you not being satisfied with Vince in some way? Or is it just my fantasy?
That is your fantasy.
That is my fantasy, okay.
You know, it's just the way you put it that does not trigger me.
what I tell you, right, doesn't trigger you.
Yes, I don't hear it like you are saying to me, you know, Bianca, I see you are angry with Vince and you are denying it or avoiding this feeling. It's that would trigger me.
Why would I do that?
That's another story. What she's saying is you're actually asking her, you're inquiring of Bianca what she is feeling, and that's a connection. She's okay with that. She's good with that. But other people tell her what she's feeling, and especially if they tell her what she's feeling and it's not right, she gets angry. That does trigger
Yes.
her. Yeah. So you have to tell her what she's feeling in order to trigger her anger.
But I have no clue what you're feeling.
That's why you won't trigger her anger.
Because when you just spoke with Vince, and Vince, when I now I feel like I owe an explanation to Vince, but yeah, maybe I don't. So when I asked you this, I was becoming I was starting to feel frustrated and maybe bored because you were talking about abstract things and I couldn't relate to them. And for me, I don't know how this is real, like what's the application of this in your life or in this particular moment. And that's what I said. Like what is this like you're not talking about? Is there something that, because you're clearly, you know, you have, because Vince thinks you're very smart and you have a unique angle at everything. But for me, I in this particular moment, I don't know you at all. And for what I see is you're just being very generic about something, something I cannot relate to. Like I cannot play with you in this because I don't feel, what's in it? Where's the substance? And maybe it's just me, whatever, you can tell me, oh, fuck, I don't care. Like if you're not, if you know, you can shove it up your whatever. I don't care. And maybe it's just me. But I don't like intellectual. I'm not a big fan of intellect right now, and I don't like intellectual discussions because for me they are empty. And it's just me.
Yeah. And I agree, and even if I do it all the time, but
Then why do you do it all the time?
I'd wish
You wish what?
I could go to the real thing. Just.
So there's some frustration about that, eh? Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
I don't know. I feel I have so much this being jaded, so much this defenses build up, but I can't go through that.
Mm.
Maybe if I got really, really angry.
Mm. We'll have to get Jenny to trigger you or David to trigger you, so we can get at it. Yeah, but not today. Yeah, it's time for me to go and cook breakfast.
Poached
Yeah.
eggs?
Poached eggs, yes. Yeah.
Eggs Benedict. We call them.
No, just plain poached eggs.
Yeah.
But Benedict is different?
Yeah, there's
I think more complicated.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's
Thank you,
a
Vin.
promise, Bianca. We'll get you triggered next time. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. All
I
right.
will remember it.
Yeah.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Good.
Thank you,
Yeah.
Vince. Thank you, Vince.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Vince.